Narrator VO. Paris, August 30th, 1997. A city alive with light, laughter, and luxury for most. It was just another Saturday night. But for one of the most famous women in the world, it would be her last. Archival footage, Diana boarding a car earlier that day. Camera flashes exploding around her. Narrator VO. Diana, Princess of Wales. At 36 years old, she was still one of the most photographed and pursued women on earth. Her every move, tracked, analyzed, and splashed across the world's front pages, cut to black and white stills of paparazzi waiting outside the Ritz Hotel. Narrator VO. On that night, Diana and her companion, Dodi Al Fayed, dined at the Ritz Hotel, a gilded palace of Parisian luxury owned by Dodi's father, Mohammed Al Fayed. But even here, behind gold doors and marble walls, they could not escape the cameras. Interview voice, former hotel staffer, soft tone, they were trying to have a quiet evening. But the press, the photographers, they were everywhere. Waiting. Narrator VO. Dinner was brief, uneasy. By midnight, Diana and Dodi made a fateful decision to leave the Ritz and head to a private apartment near the Champs-Élysées. To avoid the swarm of paparazzi out front, they slipped out through the back entrance. Reconstruction shot, a black Mercedes waiting in the Ritz courtyard. Headlights cut through the Paris night. Narrator VO. A sleek black Mercedes-Benz S-80. At the wheel, Henry Paul, the hotel's acting head of security. Alongside them, Trevor Rhys-Jones, Dodi's bodyguard, the only one to wear a seatbelt that night. Archival footage, blurred paparazzi motorcycles, the hum of engines. Narrator VO. The car pulled into the Paris night. Almost instantly, a fleet of motorcycles and scooters roared to life behind them. The chase had begun. Interview voice. Witness. Recalling the scene, you could feel the tension. The drivers, the photographers, everyone was speeding, trying to get ahead. It wasn't just pursuit, it was a hunt. Narrator VO. As the Mercedes raced along the Seine, weaving through the streets at nearly twice the speed limit, the glitter of Paris blurred into shadows. Each turn brought them closer to the underpass at Pont de l'Alma, a tunnel that would soon be etched into history. Cinematic pause, fade to black, a single echo of tires screeching. Narrator VO. Inside that car sat the most famous woman in the world, and within minutes, she would be gone. Opening shot, dark streets, dim streetlights casting elongated shadows. The sound of the car engine revs, the whir of tires against the wet asphalt. A faint pulse of music builds. Narrator VO. August 31st, 1997. The streets of Paris, slick with rain. The chaos of the chase now reaches its final, fatal moment. It is 12:23 a.m. The black Mercedes, pursued relentlessly by paparazzi, enters the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. Cinematic reconstruction. The sleek Mercedes speeding into the darkened tunnel. Flashing lights of motorcycles buzz in the rearview. Narrator VO. For just a few seconds, the world stood still. Henry Paul, the driver, swerved to avoid the motorcycles. What happened next is still the subject of much debate. Sound design, a sudden thud, then the screech of metal. The crash, a sickening moment of silence. Narrator VO. Just moments after entering the tunnel, the Mercedes lost control. It clipped a pillar on the right side, sending the car into a spin. The rear tires hit the stone edge, flipping the vehicle over, and in a heartbeat, the world changed. Archival footage, paramedics rushing to the scene, firefighters, emergency lights flashing, their faces tense, the sounds of radio static, hurried voices. Narrator VO. Seconds passed like hours. When the wreckage finally came to a halt, the tunnel was eerily quiet, save for the distant hum of passing traffic. The paparazzi had arrived, but the night's pursuit had now turned into something much darker. Cinematic pause, the screen goes black, the sound of footsteps, slow breathing. Narrator VO. Dodi Al Fayed, the son of one of the world's wealthiest men. Henry Paul, a hotel security manager who, despite his credentials, had been drinking that night. And Trevor Rhys-Jones, Dodi's bodyguard, the only survivor. He was strapped into his seatbelt. But for Diana, the impact had already taken its toll. Reconstruction shot. Trevor Rhys-Jones, disoriented, climbing out of the car through the shattered windshield. Narrator VO. Trevor, bloody and dazed, emerged first. His memory of those first moments blurred, his hands trembling, his legs unsteady. But what he saw, what he could not have expected, was the lifeless body of the woman he was sworn to protect. Interview voice, paramedic, recalling the scene. When we arrived, it was chaos. But Diana was in the back seat. It was clear she was severely injured. But at that moment, no one knew just how bad it was. There was hope she'd survive. Narrator VO. Paramedics rushed to the wreckage. Diana, unconscious, her body crushed by the impact. Dodi Al-Fayed, fatally injured, lay beside her. Henry Paul, the driver, was also dead at the scene. 3 lives lost in a matter of seconds. Reconstruction shot. The paramedics working quickly, intubating Diana, stabilizing her. Narrator VO. She was pulled from the wreckage and placed on a stretcher, her vital signs faint. The decision was made. She had to be transported to Pitti Salpêtrière Hospital, one of Paris's largest medical centers. But even as the ambulance sped through the streets, another tragedy unfolded in the heart of the city. Sound design, sirens blaring, the sound of rushing wind as the ambulance speeds through empty streets. Narrator VO. The press, relentless as ever, followed in pursuit. And by the time the ambulance reached the hospital, the news had already spread like wildfire. The Princess of Wales in critical condition. The world, once again, holding its breath. Interview voice, paparazzo, soft, remorseful. There were a lot of cameras. We were all rushing, trying to get that one shot. We didn't know what was happening inside the car. We didn't know how bad it was. But it felt like we had already crossed a line that we couldn't come back from. Cinematic pause. A faint heartbeat monitor, slowed and steady, fills the silence. Narrator VO. As the ambulance doors closed, the press, the chaos, the hunt, all remained outside. But inside the walls of the hospital, there was only one question on everyone's mind. Text on screen. Pitti Salpêtrière Hospital. 1:30 a.m. August 31st, 1997.
Narrator V. OST 1:30. Antes do meio-dia. August 31st, 1997. The Princess of Wales arrives at Pitti Salpêtrière. The world does not yet know it, but inside these walls, a desperate battle has begun. Reconstruction shot. Paramedics rush Diana into the emergency ward. Doctors shouting instructions in French. Narrator V. Diana was gravely injured. A ruptured pulmonary vein, severe internal bleeding, a crushed chest. Yet despite her condition, the medical team fought tirelessly. Interview voice, emergency doctor. She was unconscious when she came in. We immediately began resuscitation, transfusions, and chest compressions. For hours, our only focus was to keep her alive. Narrator VO2. Outside the hospital, the world was beginning to wake. In London, the first whispers reached the early morning newsrooms. Reports spoke of a car accident. At first, details were scarce. But, within minutes, speculation began to spread. Archival footage. News anchors at 2 a.m., speaking in hushed, uncertain tones. Narrator VO. Was she alive? Was she seriously injured? Across the globe, millions sat glued to their televisions, waiting for answers that never seemed to come. Cinematic pause. Close-up shot of an empty hospital corridor, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. Narrator VO. Inside the operating room, doctors performed open-heart massage for nearly 2 hours. They fought. Each beat of the monitor marked hope and despair. Sound design. The flat line of a heart monitor slowly fades. In Narrator VO. At 4 a.m., the unimaginable became reality. Diana, Princess of Wales, was pronounced dead. Black screen. Silence. Then, a single voice. Fleiss interview voice. French surgeon. Subdued. We did everything we could. But her injuries were too severe. There was nothing more we could do. Narrator VO. In that moment, a life so vibrant, so luminous, was extinguished. And with it, a chapter of history came to an end. Archival montage. Diana laughing, hugging her sons, walking through minefields, embracing children in hospitals. Narrator VO. She was just 36 years old, a mother to 2 young boys, a woman who had captured the heart of a nation and the world. Cinematic pause. Fade to a London skyline at dawn, quiet and still. Narrator VO. As Paris mourned. London braced for a wave of grief unlike anything it had ever seen. Narrator VO. Though her life was cut short, Diana's legacy endures. She was more than a princess. She was a force of compassion, a champion for those the world overlooked, and a mother who redefined what it meant to be royal. Montage: Diana shaking hands with AIDS patients, comforting grieving families, laughing with children. Narrator Via: from the beginning, Diana chose to step beyond the palace gates. She broke stigma by holding the hands of HIV patients in a time of fear. She walked through minefields to draw the world's attention to forgotten victims of war. She comforted the sick, the poor, the outcast, showing that the crown could stand with the people. Interview Voice: humanitarian worker. Share this ability to make you feel like you were the only person in the room. That's why people loved her. She listened. She cared. Narrator VO: her authenticity made her the most beloved figure of her generation. And in her absence, it became clear. Diana had given the monarchy something it could never again ignore: humanity. Both archival footage. Princes William and Harry as boys, walking with their mother. Narrator VO: for William and Harry, her greatest legacy was personal. She was their mother. Her death, their most profound loss. But her influence has shaped their lives and their futures. Archival footage. William and Harry as adults, speaking at Diana memorial events. Prince William Archibald: not a day goes by that I don't think about her. Her spirit, her love, is with us always. Prince Harry archival. She had this infectious energy. She made people feel they could take on the world. We hope to continue the work she started. Narrator VO: through their voices, her influence continues. Diana's compassion echoes in their causes, her warmth reflected in their actions. In many ways, her spirit still guides the monarchy and the world she once moved so deeply. Montage: crowds at Diana memorials. The flame of remembrance at Ponte dell'Alma, a statue of Diana with her sons unveiled at Kensington Palace. Narrator VO: more than 2 decades later, Diana remains immortal in memory. She is still the people's princess, a woman who lived and loved in defiance of convention, and who changed the face of royalty forever. Cinematic pause. Slow-motion footage of Diana smiling and waving, flashbulbs lighting her face. Narrator VO: her life was extraordinary, her death a tragedy. But her legacy, compassion, courage, humanity lives on. For, in the end, Diana was not just a princess of the palace, she was the princess of the people.